Chaos theory, the $2 trillion secret billionaires used to dominate uncertainty, the $2 trillion secret Steve Jobs found in his darkest hour. Steve Jobs got fired from his own company. It looked like game over. But it was exactly in that moment of complete chaos that he discovered the principle that would transform Apple into the world's most valuable company. Today, as a performance archaeologist, I'm going to reveal this ancient secret that history's greatest minds used to turn chaos into their ultimate advantage. Most people run from chaos like it's the plague. But here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. Chaos isn't your enemy, it's your most demanding teacher. While everyone seeks control and predictability, the real masters of high performance learn something revolutionary. It's not about controlling chaos, it's about dancing with it. Think about the last 6 months of your life. How many times did you feel completely lost, not knowing which way to turn? Now imagine if I told you those moments weren't accidents, they were disguised opportunities you let slip away. Chaos theory reveals that within the most unpredictable systems lie hidden patterns, and whoever learns to see them has a brutal competitive advantage. Leonardo da Vinci didn't create masterpieces by following manuals. He dove headfirst into the chaos of experimentation, wild curiosity, and not knowing. And it was exactly in that discomfort zone where inventions were born that were 500 years ahead of their time. The discipline you need to develop isn't the discipline of an obedient soldier, but the discipline of a fearless explorer. Here's the first principle that will change your mindset forever. A system's logic is always its greatest vulnerability. When everyone's following the same rules, whoever learns the exceptions dominates the game. That's why the most talented hackers don't break systems, they find the gaps that creators never imagined existed. Our era's problem is we've been conditioned to believe success means eliminating risks. But look at history's greatest entrepreneurs. They didn't eliminate risks, they became experts at navigating through them. They developed what I call chaos intelligence, the ability to find order where others see only disorder. Your work, your life, your relationships, these are all complex systems full of unpredictable variables. And the first step to mastering any system is to stop trying to control it and start understanding it. High performance doesn't come from brute force, but from strategic intelligence applied at the right moment. The ancient Stoics understood something we've forgotten in our instant gratification culture. True power lies not in avoiding storms, but in learning to sail through them. Marcus Aurelius wrote his most profound insights while commanding armies in brutal campaigns. Surrounded by death and uncertainty, he transformed external chaos into internal clarity. Think about the most successful people you know personally. I guarantee they're not the ones who had the easiest paths, they're the ones who got comfortable being uncomfortable. They developed what Navy SEALs call comfort in chaos, the ability to make clear decisions when everything around them is falling apart. Here's your first challenge as an archaeologist of your own performance. Take the biggest problem you're facing right now. Instead of looking for immediate solutions, grab a sheet of paper and ask 2 brutally honest questions. What truths about this situation am I avoiding? And what opportunities might be hidden in this apparent chaos? Write without filter for 10 minutes. This exercise will reveal patterns your rational mind was blocking. The journey we're starting today goes against everything you've been taught about success. We're going to unearth secrets that have been buried by comfort zone culture. If you're ready to discover how to turn uncertainty into competitive advantage, drop chaos in the comments and prepare for a revelation that will shake your deepest convictions. How one 30-second decision can change your life forever. Butterfly effect exposed. A single misinterpreted letter caused the fall of the Russian Empire. One unreturned phone call cost Kodak $145 billion. Small actions, colossal consequences. Today I'll show you how strategy masters throughout history use the butterfly effect to create extraordinary results, and how you can apply this to your life starting today. What separates an amateur chess player from a grandmaster? It's not just intelligence. It's the supernatural ability to visualize how one seemingly insignificant move can determine the game's outcome 20 moves ahead. They don't play the current move, they play the entire game simultaneously. This is the mindset you need to develop. While most people live reacting to events, true strategists live anticipating them. They understand something our make it happen culture never taught you. Power isn't in impulsive action, but in calculated pause. Sun Tzu said something most people quote wrong: supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. But what does this really mean? It means the greatest strategy masters win the war before it even begins. They make moves so subtle and precise that when results appear, it looks like magic. Let me tell you about a fascinating experiment. Researchers put rats in a maze with two exit options. Most always chose the most obvious path, but some rats developed a different strategy. They paused, observed, tested small movements before committing to a direction. These rats always found the exit faster. The lesson? Intelligence isn't speed, it's precision. Now apply this to your professional life. How many times have you made important decisions under pressure, only to discover later there were much better options you didn't consider? The strategist's discipline isn't about having quick answers, it's about asking the right questions before everyone realizes they needed to be asked. The butterfly effect works both ways. Small negligences can destroy empires, but small, precise actions can build them. Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire making 1,000 investments, he became a billionaire waiting for the right opportunities and, when they appeared, acting with total conviction. There's a brutal difference between being busy and being productive. Modern culture programs you to confuse movement with progress, but true high-performance masters learned the secret of energy economics. They do fewer things, but each action is magnified by perfect timing and precision. Here's what blew my mind studying military strategists. The best generals spend 80% of their time gathering intelligence and 20% acting on it. Meanwhile, amateur commanders do the opposite. They act fast and gather information later. Guess who wins more battles? This principle applies to everything. Before Amazon became the everything store, Jeff Bezos spent months analyzing which products would be easiest to ship. Before Facebook conquered social media, Mark Zuckerberg studied exactly why previous social networks failed. The foundation of every empire is information, not inspiration. Here's an exercise that will revolutionize your decision-making. Before making any important decision in the next 7 days, pause for exactly 60 seconds and ask, if I had to explain this decision to my future self 5 years from now, what would he say? This 60-second pause will activate parts of your brain that normally stay dormant in daily rush. You'll start seeing connections and consequences that were invisible before. Most people underestimate the power of consistent small adjustments. They want instant transformation, but true masters know that 1% changes applied consistently create exponential results. If you're starting to understand that strategy is more powerful than brute force, drop calculation, the comments, and prepare to discover how to create systems that work for you even while you sleep. Einstein's mental hack: work 4 hours. Changed the world. Strange attractors revealed Einstein worked only 4 hours a day, but changed our understanding of the universe. Nikola Tesla had routines so specific they seemed like mystical rituals, yet he created the foundations of our modern civilization. What did these geniuses know about strange attractors that you haven't discovered yet? Prepare for a revelation that will completely reorganize your relationship with time and productivity. In chaos mathematics, there's a fascinating concept called strange attractors, patterns that emerge spontaneously in complex systems, creating order where there should be only randomness. It's as if the universe has hidden intelligence that guides chaos toward coherent structures. And history's greatest geniuses discovered how to apply this principle to their lives. Think of it this way: your life is a chaotic system, bombarded by 1,000 stimuli, decisions, and distractions every day. Most people fight this chaos, trying to control every variable. But there's a much more elegant approach. Create attractors, so powerful in your routine that no matter what happens, you're always pulled back to your high-performance center. Charles Darwin had a sacred ritual. Every day at exactly 4:30 p.m., he walked a specific trail on his property, what he called the thinking path. Didn't matter if it was raining, if he had visitors, or if he had problems. On that trail, his greatest insights about evolution were born. He created an attractor so strong his mind automatically entered a state of genius. Here's the truth that will shock you. You don't need more discipline. You need better attractors. Discipline is brute force. Attractors are applied intelligence. When you create the right attractors, high-performance behavior becomes automatic, almost effortless. I'll give you a brutal practical example. Why can you watch 6 hours of Netflix without effort, but can't read 30 minutes a day? It's not lack of discipline, it's because Netflix created more powerful attractors than your personal goals. They used neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and addictive design to hijack your reward system. But you can use the same techniques in your favor. Tibetan monks don't maintain spiritual practices for decades because they're more disciplined than you. They created physical, mental, and social environments that make it impossible not to meditate. Their monasteries are giant attractors designed to sustain specific states of consciousness. The secret is understanding that you don't make decisions, your environments make decisions for you. If your desk is messy, you'll think messily. If your phone is on the desk during work, your attention will be fragmented. If you want to change behaviors, stop trying to change yourself, change your attractors. Look at how tech companies design their offices. Google doesn't just put ping pong tables everywhere for fun. They're creating attractors for creativity and collaboration. Every element is strategically placed to pull employees toward behaviors that drive innovation. They're engineering human behavior through environmental design. The most successful people I've studied don't rely on willpower, they rely on systems. They create what I call success infrastructure, environments so well designed that good choices become inevitable and bad choices become nearly impossible. Here's an experiment that will transform your productivity in the next 48 hours. Choose one activity you know you should do, but always postpone. Now, instead of depending on willpower, create an irresistible attractor. Define a specific location, specific time, and specific reward linked to this activity. For example, if you want to read more, place the book on your favorite chair with a cup of coffee already prepared beside it. Make it easier to do the right thing than to avoid it. Most people underestimate the power of environment in habit formation. They try to change from inside out, but true masters change from outside in first. If you're starting to realize that high performance is more about intelligent systems than willpower, drop attraction in the comments and prepare to discover how to build a legacy that survives time. How to turn your worst moments into your greatest treasure. Ancient method. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations during the most brutal military campaigns of the Roman Empire, surrounded by death, betrayal, and absolute pressure. These words, written amidst total chaos, still guide leaders 2,000 years later. How did an emperor transform his personal suffering into the most powerful leadership manual ever created? And how can you do the same with your own challenges? We've reached the deepest point of our archaeological journey. You've learned about embracing chaos, about the power of small actions, and about creating attractors that sustain high performance. But now, we're going beyond personal performance. We're talking about how to transform your experience into immortal wisdom. The brutal truth nobody tells you is this: you won't be remembered for what you accumulated, but for what you created from what you lost. Humanity's greatest legacies weren't born from moments of triumph, but from moments of transformation. And transformation only happens in chaos, in uncertainty, in the zone where you have no guarantees. Leonardo da Vinci died with thousands of unfinished projects. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Vincent van Gogh sold only one painting in his lifetime. By conventional definitions, they failed in many areas. But they understood something our results-obsessed culture forgot. Legacy isn't about perfection. It's about radical authenticity. There's an abysmal difference between success and significance. Success is about you, significance is about the impact you have on others. And paradoxically, when you stop chasing success and start pursuing significance, success appears as a natural byproduct. Here's the secret that will change your perspective forever. The moments that hurt you most, the decisions that cost you most, the failures that embarrassed you most, these aren't your weaknesses. They're your greatest sources of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about how to be emperor when everything's fine. He wrote about how to maintain integrity when everything's falling apart. The supreme discipline isn't getting what you want, it's transforming what you couldn't avoid into fuel for your evolution. This is called existential alchemy, the art of transforming lead into gold, trauma into wisdom, chaos into clarity. But here's the part most people miss. This transformation isn't automatic. It requires a conscious choice, daily, to extract meaning from raw experience. It requires what I call the archaeologist mindset, the discipline of excavating the superficial layers of experience to find the treasures buried underneath. Your life isn't a series of random events. It's a laboratory for human development. Every challenge is an experiment. Every mistake is data. Every achievement is validation of a hypothesis. When you start seeing your experience as research for something bigger than yourself, everything changes. The most powerful leaders in history weren't those who never fell, they were those who transformed their falls into foundations for others to stand on. They understood that vulnerability shared becomes strength multiplied. Your scars aren't badges of shame, they're credentials of wisdom. Here's the challenge that will define your legacy. Take the most difficult moment you've lived through in the past 2 years. Now, a letter to someone going through something similar. Don't give generic advice, share exactly what you learned, how you grew, what internal resources you discovered you didn't know you had. This letter is the beginning of your legacy. This is how experience transforms into wisdom, and wisdom transforms into impact. The performance archaeologist's journey never ends because there are always new layers of human potential to discover. You don't need to be perfect to leave a powerful legacy, you need to be brave enough to transform your imperfections into insights that can guide others. If you're ready to stop just consuming content and start creating wisdom from your own experience, drop "my legacy" in the comments. And if this journey awakens something in you, share it with someone who needs to discover that their greatest challenges can become their greatest contributions to the world. Smash like if this video shifted your perspective. Subscribe to never miss our next archaeological expedition.